Right, this 127 autographer, I've cleaned the writing up here. Actually I did it with a little bit of Brasso, so that's, I can see what's there now, the markings. You've got, you know, cloudy, sunshine, so that moves across there quite freely. And you can see the blades, I don't know if you can see the blades there moving. So that's the iris opening and closing. And then you've got on the top of it, you've got 25th of a second, you've got B, so that's brief, and then you've got timing. Timing is where you click it on and then give it a second click to switch it off. So you've got 3 timing units on there. Having a look at it, I'm not too sure whether there might be some light leaks in the cardboard bellows here. So I want to check it out, and I thought it was going to be difficult, but basically it's quite straightforward and simple. There's only 2 screws holding the whole unit in, so I can look at it from the inside. So once you've taken these 2 screws out here, you've got them on the bottom, one there and one there. I've taken them out, obviously. I didn't want to do it on camera in case I broke them. No, it was straightforward. Okay, having done that, I've unlocked the top so I can take that out. Now what I do is just gently push that across. So if I just give it a lift on this side, give it a lift over here, it's starting to rise out of the body. Here we go, a little bit at a time. When it's risen enough, I can probably pick it out with my fingers. So I can now start to pull it straight out. Give it a little wiggle. Yep, there we go. So now I can look at it from the inside and I realise it's quite clean. I want to be doubly sure that I'm not going to any light leaks in it. I didn't know what to do. I could make some new bellows, but I think it's a lot of effort to go for what I'm going to be using it. So I got to thinking maybe something like a rubberized paint, something that's going to be flexible for when I shut it in and out of the camera. I don't want it, if I just use ordinary paint, gloss paint, whatever, it's going to crack. So I've looked on the internet, there's various paints you can buy, but they seem to be by the pint or the litre if you want to be modern. So thinking cap on, I came up with this. Now this is Evo Stick flash band. This is what you put, if you're putting a flash band in round on a wall to make it watertight, then this is the primer. And basically it is a sticky paint and it remains flexible. So I think that might be an idea to, you know, go with that. I give you a tip. If you've got an old tin of paint, one of the things to do is not just open it willy-nilly. This was actually filthy, really coated with dust, and coated with dust around here. If I open this out, then all that dust, all that debris is going to go into the pan. That's not really what I want. So give it a good clean out before you open this. Oh, okay, give it a good shake first. It's better than probably just stirring it. So when I've done that, when I've opened that, I'll show you. We'll take it step by step and start coating the bellows. All right, pop the old gloves on. I've opened the tin. I have used it before. It doesn't dry this murky brown. I wouldn't worry if it was actually. So let's do this slowly. If it's going to leak anywhere, then it's probably going to be here in the corner bits. That's the only place that's going to be more susceptible. It does bend there quite a bit, so it's just a case of slowly catchy monkey. Don't ask me where that sound comes from. Right, my rubberized solution on the bellows works. I've put a torch in, I can't see it leaking anywhere, so I've got faith in that. What I need to do now is to put a film through it. Now, 127 roll film, as most people know, is expensive. I'm going to be paying anywhere between 13 and 15 pound, and I've got to wait for it. I don't like waiting days just to get hold of something. Probably have fallen out and gone on to another project by the time it comes. Right, so I thought, well, why don't I try and put 35mm film through it? I could do it all in a changing bag. I could roll some film, make myself a spindle to go on the other side that this is going to come from. I tried making a wooden spindle, masking tape either side, and I was going to run the 35mm through that way. It was fraught with problems. It kept snagging. It wasn't going to work. I didn't really have a lot of faith in it. So then I thought, well, if I want to test the camera out to make sure it's light tight, why don't I put a piece of photographic paper in the camera and then leave it out in the daylight for a while, bring it back, process the paper. That'll tell me if I've got any leaks. Once I had that idea, I then went off the spooling idea and suddenly thought, can I make some sort of mask? So I went over to my old enlarger, and this is the mask you've got when you're putting in your negatives. You put your negatives in there, you shut it across, and then each negative goes through one after another. So I said, what I need to do is make something that'll slip into that gap, and I can make 35mm, drag through there, use the winder, and I'll probably do a countdown and a test strip to see how many times I need to wind it to advance the film. Right, that's the theory. Because I've got such a wide window here and it's only 35mm I'm putting through, it doesn't really matter about getting it dead centres. But what does matter is that I don't want the sprocket hole. So if I mark here and do the same on the other side, that should give me an area where I need to get inside that line, so that I've only got, it actually works out at 25mm. So I've lost 5mm on either side with the sprocket holes. I don't know if this is in focus down here, but let's have a look. This is the line, 25mm. I've got to be careful with Stanley blades. The times I've cut myself, it's unbelievable. And always down to probably a lack of concentration when you're doing it. Think of nothing else when you come to cutting. You could use a smaller ruler. The only thing is, the bigger ruler has a larger shoulder on it. Hopefully, my knife isn't going to slip. The amount of pressure you need to put is considerable to cut through the silly little thing like a small piece of cardboard. But right, it's a nice sunny day outside. Can't put it off any longer. It's now time to put the theory into practice. So I've made my little template to put the film through, 35mm, and it seems to work okay. Quite happy with that. What I need to do now is to put this 35mm 400 ASA, trim the edges. I can do this in the daylight, place it into my light shield. Once I've done that, the whole thing then needs to go in here. Well, it didn't work. I'll tell you why. What I didn't allow for is the flash band adhesive that I used as a rubberized paint takes quite some time to go off. And what I've done is closed my camera case and opened it up a few days later, and the operation of pulling it out meant that it was pulling away from the bellows, so I was creating more cracks. But in theory, it should have worked. Have a go. Follow my simple instructions. It might work for you. I'll see you soon, and we'll get it right next time.